morning to all. See, in the last class, we were looking at the Python modules, and in today's class, we'll try to look into two subtopics. One being the what is meant by Python package, okay, and then we'll try to look into the Python string and string method. Any of strings we have discussed. There are some few string methods which we have to discuss. Okay. So what is a module? See, if you Python package. Okay. Now, as I told that if I take any module, so module may have, it can have a functions, different smaller programs. It can have a class. Class is nothing but a set of group actually. So we'll discuss more on the class when we come to object-oriented program. Okay. So it has functions, it has class. Maybe it can have some more uh, subclasses or whatever it may be. Okay, some subclasses, whatever it may be. So this we call it as a module. Now, what is this package? See, if I call this as module, if I call this as module 1, so I may be having a similar module 2, so which may be having different functions. So maybe different only function. It may be having a module 2, may be having only a functions, and I may be having a module 3 which may be having all classes. Just I'm giving an example, that's it. Okay, which may be having all classes. This is all different modules. So now when I try to group this actually, this is called as a package. I'll give you an example. Say I told that math is a module. I told that math is a module. Math is a Python module. But if I want to do some complex mathematical operations, something like I want to solve some differential equations or ODEs and all, I won't be able to do it using this math module. So in that case, I'm going to use what is a package called as NumPy, which has the math module and it has the complex mathematical solving functions. Okay, so this is one module. So I may be having one more module which can solve the complex. So using this, I can solve either ODs or PDs and all I can solve. So NumPy is a package. NumPy is a package and math is a module. So now you try to understand it. What is a package? A package is nothing but a one which consists of different modules. Okay, it's something like in the same directory, in the directory. And how, see, in that particular directory are inbuilt functions, inbuilt also in the Python. So I'll be having a different modules. These modules will have different functions. That are those functions that are but small programs, or maybe in object-oriented program, I will try to group certain things. Say I want to group a class of cars. Then under that cars, I will try to subgroup a class of cars between maybe 4 to 6 lakhs, 6 to 8 lakhs, 8 to 10 lakhs, like that. Those are called as subclasses. So like this, whatever the classes, subclasses, all those things I have, all this I can form as one particular class, and this class can be in your package. Okay, modules can be in your package, classes can be in your package, maybe subclasses can be in your package, or different functions can be in your module, and those modules are there in your package. So package is nothing but something like a big directory, or so to be very precise, package is nothing but it's a library. Just like we go to library and we try to search for what is required. So we go to a science particular that particular thing, or maybe mathematics, or we go to civil engineering or mechanical, wherever whatever you want. Those are nothing but modules. Okay, your whatever the books belong to a particular course, or it can be belong to a particular branch. Those can be called as a class or modules, and then a combined together we call it as a library, and that library is called as your package. Okay, now in Python different packages are there. Okay, different packages are there. So maybe we are in recent one, 2020. So I'll try to give that some very important top 10 packages, which are very, very important. Okay. So top 10 packages. So one which is very, very important is the first one is the NumPy, which we will discuss more on this NumPy packages, and we'll try to use it when we come to Unit 5. See, what is this actually, NumPy? NumPy is a package which is used to do mathematical, regular mathematical operations, as well as, okay, as well as some, however, do some complex maths. So complex mathematical operation, if I want to do, I'll be using this. Okay, what is the advantage of this NumPy? See, when I use a package, I need not write all the equations because there are certain functions or modules which are inbuilt in your package. So my coding becomes easier. Coding becomes, so that is, coding becomes easier for all my mathematical operations. So that is the advantage of it actually. So it's something like it's going to provide some kind of a tool. Say I want to create a multi-dimensional array. Okay, so if I want to create some kind of an array, so maybe something like 8 cross 8 or 5 cross 4, something like that, and I want to do some calculations. So array, then I want to do some calculations. So that can be easily done using this package. Otherwise, what I should have done actually, I should have write the code for that and run the code and try to get my solutions. Now already there are some inbuilt package, NumPy package is there, which may be having certain amount of modules. So those modules I'm trying to use and try to get my solutions. And NumPy is a valuable, see, NumPy, as I told, maybe it's, if you look at the NumPy as one of the key, it comes in top 5 packages used in Python. Okay, it's one of the valuable or Python package, and it's also called as, it's used for all the general purpose simple mathematical tasks, and its NumPy is very extensively used in machine learning. Okay, because it's provided, maybe you might be heard of something like tensors and all. Okay, so it has certain mathematical these things to handle that tensor flows and all, which is very much common phenomena, or which is extensively used in your machine learning. Okay, so that particular module is used in your NumPy. Okay, let's look at the second one. Okay, second one is Python imaging library. So one more package, imaging library. Okay, what is it actually? See, if I want to do some operation with images, so I want to have applications interacting with your images. Okay, then Python imaging library is the module which I'm going to use. It's called as PIL. So PIL library. Okay, so what does it do? It's try to see whenever I have a particular image, so I want to work on that particular image in your Python code. I'll be using this particular Python image, this thing. Even OpenPIV, so the OpenCV and all they call actually. So in the machine learning, even there also they try to use this PIL actually. So Python imaging library is one more Python package which is extensively used. Okay. So similarly, if I want to work on some kind of a movies and all, or videos, so if I want to work on videos, so I have one package which is called as MoviePy, so which extensively works on videos. Okay, and this video actually this also works with its PIL. So some of the functions are between your PIL and your MoviePy are common. But if I want to only exclusively use for videos, I will use MoviePy. If I want to use it for only images, I will use Python image library. There may be, see, they might be talking to each other because there are certain modules which may be common in PIL, which may be common in MoviePy, but if I want to use it for images, I'll use PIL. If I want to use it for MoviePy, I'm going to use videos, I'll use MoviePy. Okay. So there is one more module. I'll try to discuss some 5 or 6 actually, 6 or 7, whatever important. Rest you people can read it. So there is one uh, library, sorry, Python package which is called as Pendulum. Okay, this Pendulum package. So what is it actually? So say I want to determine some module to, so if I have some kind of a module, so I want to determine its time factor. So time means it can be a particular date, day, and or that particular maybe instantaneous time, whatever it may be. Instantaneous time. If I want to work on it actually, so pendulum it clearly indicates that it is nothing but it's a time dependent kind of a package. So this kind of, so this is also used. So pendulum just work actually. So when you want to need a modify a particular low code, maybe I might have written a code so a couple of years back actually. So I want to make some modifications to it actually. So with respect to the latest this thing, if I want to use, maybe I can use this pendulum code. So which is the latest package which came maybe around 5-6 years back. So this is one particular package, and we very extensively use one more package is pandas. Okay, so what is it actually? It's a long list. It's nothing but if I want to use some complex data sets, complex data sets. Okay, so pandas is the one particular package which, so it's something like it's linked to NumPy because NumPy is used for mathematics, and from that I have a math module, all those things, and pandas is linked to your NumPy. So there's a link actually, each packages are linked to each other. But if I want to work on some kind of a comp only on the data particular this thing, so this is extensively used in your machine learning. So pandas is one particular package which can handle a data processing, or I can if you want to be very specific, a specialized data processing. It has an ability to process the data in a very special manner. Then I'm going to use this pandas as one particular thing. And we have one more package. So let me discuss another 2 or 3. So PyQt. PyQt. This is one more package. Okay. So we all know that we all deal with GUIs. Okay. So this is the package used to build graphic user interfaces. Okay, if I want to build, so you know that Qt particular thing within some of your, if you are working on Linux machine and all, they ask you Qt4, Qt3, Qt5 and all, they try to ask is what exactly is they are something like some kind of link between your user interfaces actually. And PyQt is one particular package which can be used in your Python to work on graphic user interfaces. Okay, it can be maybe a single dimension, or maybe it can be a 2D case, or even if you want to do some multi-dimensions, a 3D graphic interface also, this can be used. So we have a couple of packages called as Kinter, that is T silent. So one more package is there. So TKINTR. This is one more package. So which is used to develop very similar to your GUIs. Okay. So this package PyQt and Tinker or Kinter. So whatever it may be. So both are used to build a graphic user. This also used to build your graphic user interface. Maybe I can use either PyQt or Kinter. Okay, and we have one more package. PyTest is also there. So PyTest is used for, say I want to work on some kind of a testing a new code. So testing environment. If I want to work on some kind of a testing environment, so I have a package called as PyTest. So I want to So this is used for extensively used for testing environment. Okay, so if I have to run some kind of a Windows 32 applications, now we all know that the 64-bit applications are most of we are almost converted to 64-bit applications. Here and there few things are there, but suppose you have some Win32 applications are there, or those applications you want to run actually. So we have a particular package which is called as Win32, which is used to run Windows 32-bit applications. 32-bit applications. So these are some of the Python packages. Still we have Matplotlib is there, okay, and even Seaborn package is there, Sci-Fi. So all come into these particular packages, and Matplotlib and data frames. So data frames is there. They all fall into this particular packages. So we'll try to look into this the packages. I think in the unit 5, if you look at it, so I have listed around 6 or 7 packages are there. So those packages we'll try to study in detail. So what is a package? Today you came to know. So the package is nothing but it consists of modules, or it can be consist of classes, it can consist of subclasses, or what the module may consist of functions. Okay, so it can have different modules together, grouped together. I call that as a package. And what is the function of this particular? So each package has its own particular application. So if I want to do some kind of a mathematics, complex mathematics, or something I want to do, I'm going to use NumPy package. But still, if I want to use only for maybe some kind of video graphic user interface or some kind of imaging and all, I'm going to use PIL library or Python imaging library. So the such thing, how to use this actually? Simple thing. How to use this package? So using the package, so using any package is syntax. How it is actually? Same thing. Import NumPy, import, okay, pyqt. So I'm going to import it if you want to use it. I have to import because it is there in the, it's nothing but it's in the directory or library. It's a library. I have to import it in your Python code, then I have to start using it. Import NumPy. It's just like your normal module, no? Import math as m. So then I can find m.py or m dot square root of a particular number. I am just in the similar fashion what I'm doing for a module. I can import NumPy as numpy or ny, something like that. I can import and start using it. So mp dot some operation I want to do, mathematical operation, I can do it. So I have to import it in your particular code, then I have to start using it. So like this, so I can start using the packages in your Python code. Any doubts? So do you understand what exactly is a package and how it has a lot of uses? If you look at it, see what I have listed a few actually very important one. If you want in detail, you can refer to Google it out and all. So a lot of packages are there. Many new packages are coming up, and maybe new packages may come in future also. Those packages will be used for a particular specific applications, and that package will reduce the burden on writing your code. Say I was supposed to write some 50 lines of my code, this packages will reduce you to write around 20 lines. So 30 lines you are using from the existing package itself. Okay, so that's the advantage of it. So if there are any doubts, I'm ready to discuss. Karthik Gowda, Shubha, any doubts?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Any
No
doubt?
doubt.
Okay, able to understand?
No,
Okay.
no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Shall we move to the next topic? Next subtopic, we'll discuss on the strings. Any regular expressions, we'll try to discuss on the next class. Okay, fine. We'll move to the next topic. Okay. See, we have discussed on the string actually. What is a string? String is one of the data type. Okay, string is nothing but a data type. It's a data type just like your integer, or your maybe a complex, or your float, maybe that is your real number, whatever it may be. String is so how the string I used to define. Say for example, I'm defining some variable a is equal to some my name. Okay, so this is a string. What I used to do. Suppose so in the string methods. What are the string methods actually? So there are certain built-in. See, string methods means there are some built-in functions. Okay, there are certain built-in functions, or it's also called as built-in methods, to work on strings. To work on strings. What do you mean by it actually? Okay, what do you mean by it? Say for example, let me take an example. Let me take a very simple example. Let me create one string. So let me call it as some text or something. Let me call it as some text. Okay, let me call it as welcome to the class, something Python class or whatever it may be. I'm calling this as a string. Okay, I have this string. Now I want to do some operation on it. So what is it actually? I want to see if you look at it. So okay, let me write it properly. I'll use all or small letters. I'm using all or small letters. Okay. Now, what is the string method? String method means I want to work on the string and make this first letter. Okay. I want to make the first letter as a capital. Rest all should be small letters. Okay. Rest all should be small letters. So if I want to do that, actually, there is one particular function called as capitalize. So what I'm going to do actually, so let me call it some X or Y or Z or some A or something. So A is equal to, okay, I'll work on a txt. That is what I had, the string I have defined, dot capitalize. Okay. If I'm using this capitalize, capitalize. Okay, then print A. The moment I do this, what will happen to the output? The output will be the first letter will become capital. Welcome to the class. So what exactly string method means? String method means I am going to use some built-in functions and try to do some operation on the strings which is already defined in your Python program. Okay, so what is this capitalize? Capitalize is one particular string method. So capitalize is one particular string method which converts the first character of a to uppercase. Okay, which converts the first character to uppercase. So if you look at the example what I took, the first character is a W, which was a small letter which I have defined in the particular text string. So it became capital here. If you look at it, this became a capital. If I want to convert the first letter, first character of particular string to capital, I'll use this particular string. Okay. So I want to convert the whole thing to lowercase. I want to convert the whole string to lowercase. So I have a particular thing. Say for example, if I take one more example. Okay. So I'm taking one more example. So this example, say I'm going to so use this what is called as a case fold. Okay, so I want to use case fold. This is the that particular string method, so which converts everything to lower class, that is a lowercase. So converts the whole string to lowercase. So let me give an example. So text I have defined. So let me call it as some text 1. Okay. So let me call it as, so let me use some capital in between. So what is it actually? So let me write something over here. So speaker performance. Okay. So if you look at it, I use two capitals. That is, S is a capital and P is capital. Okay. Speaker performance, microphone. Okay, one more. Let me use it. Speaker performance. Then comma microphone. So just I'm writing something. Okay. So I have three capitals. So the moment if I use some B is equal to ext1 dot, okay, case fold, CASC, case fold, the thing, print B. If I do, what will be my output? My output will be everything. See, look at this. So S gets converted from the uppercase to lowercase. Speaker, performance, microphone. The whole string will be under lowercase. So this is one particular. So you are just what you are trying to do. We are trying to work on the your this thing. You are trying to work on your string and trying to do some operation. Okay. So then, if I want to do some kind of a search operation. Okay. If I want to do some kind of a search operation. So we have a Python string called as find. Okay. So do some different operations. So if I want to do some search operation. So search operation in the string. If I want to do this, so I'm going to use the your particular string package called as find. So what does it do? It is going to search the string for a specified value. Search the string for a specified value. Okay, and returns the position where it is was found. Okay, and returns the position where that particular value, so where the value was found. Okay, so let's take an example. So say I want to find something like this. So I want to find a particular, so let me go back. So let me take an example. Okay, text 3. So let me call it as something like some example we're going to take. So TV remote itself. So TV remote is working. TV remote is working. Something I have written. Okay, now I want to search for the letter E. Okay, I want to search for the letter E. If you look at it, so I have a letter here and I have a E here. Okay, TV remote has two letter E. So I want to find it. So what does your this thing will search? It will search for the first position. So first occurrence of it. If I want to search for the first occurrence of it, what I'm going to do, say for example, I'm going to do something like some D is equal to, so the string what I do, text 3 dot find, I want to search for the string E. I'm going to search for the first occurrence. So the first occurrence is here. Okay, I'm searching for it for the first occurrence. So then print D. Print D. print D. So if I try to print D, okay. Now it will search for number of occurrences. Look at it. It will search for the number of occurrences, specified value, returns the position where it was found. It will search for the number of occurrences. Okay. Now if I try to find E, so where is it actually? So its occurrences, how many times it's there, how many first position, it's in the remote actually, remote. So if I try to run this code, what should be my output? Is there any at least one time it is occurring? Yes, at least once it is occurring, first occurrence. So my output, what I'm going to get at least, so at least once it's occurring. So the E is occurring at least once. So instead of E, if I try to, instead of E actually, if I try to give some Z, okay, instead of E, if I try to give Z, if you look at the whole string actually, I don't have anywhere the Z is there. So the output, what is going to change? The output will become 0. So if I try to write, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to search for a particular letter in the string, whether it is there, it's there or not. Okay, it's there or not. Okay, that's how you can search for the letter. Say if I want to search for, so some Q. If I want to search for the letter Q, so what will happen? If there is a Q letter is there, it's not there. Okay, so Q letter is not there, and I'll get this thing as 0. Sometimes, say for example, if I want to search for, instead of this thing, I want to find its index. Okay, so if I want to find the letter, how many times whether it's occurring or not, I'm going to use find actually. If I want to do the similar kind of operation and only find its index, so find its particular index, we know that it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go till positive, and the last letter it will take, and -1, -2, and all for a string. This already we have studied. So if I try to use this particular Python code, the Python function called as index, if I use it, so it's going to search the string. It is going to search the string value and returns the position where it was. See, it's going to tell the returns the index value. Okay, and returns its index value. Returns the index value. Okay, if I try to take the same code, if I try to text 4, so text 3 itself, let me take, and if I want to use it, so it is some E is equal to text3 dot index. Okay, index of what? E or Z or whatever I want. So index of E. Okay, so index of E, if I try to use it, what should be my output actually? So index of E, if I try to put it, so it will try to count 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I try to print E, my output will be 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the output will be 4. So like that, so this particular string method, that is I can use this particular thing to search for this thing. And if we want to count it, number of times a particular specified value occurs in a string. Okay, if I want to search for number of times a particular value is occurring in a string, I'm going to use one more Python string method, what is called as count. If I use count actually, okay, what is it going to tell actually? Say it's going to tell that in that particular string, how many times that particular string is getting repeated. Okay, so it's going to tell that how many times returns the, it is going to returns the number of times, okay, a specified value, in that string. Okay, specified value is present or occurs in the that particular string what we have defined. Okay, so let's try to look at the example and try to understand it. Okay, say for example, so let me try that. So it is something like text 5. So this is the season of mangoes. So let me write. So I love mangoes. I love mangoes. So mango is my favorite food, favorite fruit. Okay. So I love mango. So I love mango, and mango is my favorite fruit, and mango is my favorite fruit. So this is the string what I have defined. So I want to count how many times the mango is repeated. Okay, I want to count. So if you look at it, mango is here, mango is here. So this is a string actually. So this is that particular string. So if I want to do this actually, what I'm going to do, let me call it as some e is equal to text 5 dot count mango. Count mango and print e. So what will be my output? The output will be 2. Okay. So now suppose for example, so if I try to make one of this particular thing case sensitive. So one of the capital C, I am trying to, this is very case sensitive. Look at this. MANGO all are lowercase. It will search for whether all are lowercase. Here also all are lowercase. So if I try to make one of the thing as instead of smaller thing, if I try make it capital, the output will change to 1 because it's only searching for what you are given. It's trying to count what exact it has to see. It has to apple comparison. Then only it will give, oh, this is matching with this particular thing. It will tell yes, it has matched for 1. So in both are slower cases, so it gave 2. So if I try to change one of the mango capital from smaller letter M to capital letter A, then it will tell that it's not matching. Even though words maybe you know the whole word is the same, but small letter M and capital letter M is not matching, so the count will become 1. So that's how it is purely, we can call it as very much case sensitive. Okay, this is very much case sensitive. So like this you have different uh, string methods are there. One being if I want to do some kind of a encoding of this thing, so then I'm going to use encode. Okay, so if I want to do, so returns do some kind of an encoding, so returns the encoded version of the string. Okay, if I want to do with the encoded version of the string, so then I'm going to use this particular string, encoded version of the string. So we'll use this particular thing. Okay, so say for example, let me take how to use this. So what it's going to do actually, it's going to search for that particular name. Okay, so say for example, if I try to some text is equal to, so my name is Devaraj something. So if I try to write it, and if I try to use this, some x is equal to txt dot encode and print x. Okay, if I try to do this, what does this encode? See, this encode, this method encode the string using a particular specific encoding method. Okay, it will search for, if the no encoding is specified, see it's all, this encoding is done as per your UTF-8. As I told, in Python, UTF-8 is used. Okay, so operation, say the string specify the encode is used, default is your UTF-8. So what does it tell actually? So the moment if I try to use this, it's going to encode your, see, anyhow, this particular name or something. I will be getting the, for the this particular name or something, I'll be getting some kind of an encode. Okay, so that's a name actually. If I try to use this actually, what are the corresponding encoding? It's going to, maybe your Python will give that particular output. So anyhow, by name this particular thing, so it may return the same. So it may return, my name is Devraj, because there is no encoding is there. Say for example, instead of this, I will use some kind of a word actually. So let me call it as some kind of a stable or some kind of a okay. So if I use some kind of a special character, so if I try to use, so instead of A, I'm going to use, see, it's a plain word actually. So I have used DEVA, some special character. Okay, so some, as what it's going to do is actually, it's going to tell that the special character, what is the character I've used, this particular special. So it is nothing but DEV. So I have used a special character. So it's going to give that particular encode format. It's going to give that particular encode format. Okay, that particular thing is called as encoding. A hyphen or something. So for this thing, as per UTF, what is the thing that gets printed over here? Okay, you can try this. You can try with different special characters and all. You will be getting it. So that's why if I want to do some encoding, so encoding. So in encoding, actually, a lot of errors will come. So very rarely use this particular thing, but a lot of errors will come. So what are the kind of string error methods you may get? Some kind of a, sometimes ignore, some kind of a backlash and all, you're going to get it actually. Okay. So now, if I want to check for a particular string, whether it is ending with a particular value. Okay. So to do that, actually, we have one more string method which is called as ends with. END ends with. This is one particular string method. It's going to check for a particular thing. Say, for example, you have a string with some kind of a semicolon or some kind of a hyphen and all. You want to check whether that particular string has ended with an hyphen, whether the string has ended with a particular comma, if you want to check it actually. So it can be checked actually. So it returns a value if the string ends with, that particular specified, ends with the specified value. Okay, so let me think an example. So say for example, so let me use a thing, some text is equal to welcome to India. Okay, let me write welcome to India. And I have putting at the end, I'm going to put a full stop. Okay. So what I want to check actually, I want to check whether the full stop is there or not. Okay. So otherwise, if I want to check for the comma or something, so comma also I can check, or you can put an exclamatory sentence, or you want to tell that what is your name. So instead of this thing, so if I have one more thing, so if a text, so what is your name? What is your name? So with a question mark. So what I need to do actually, say for example, if I call the x is equal to txt dot, if I want to check for the full stop, what I'm going to do, ends with, okay, within the string full stop. Okay. If I want to check for the, what's your question mark, what I'm going to do? Text with ends with your question mark. So what is the output will be for the first one? Yes, it is true. So it will give, it won't give 1 or 2 or something. It will check for the Boolean thing, whether the full stop is there. Yes, full stop is here. So I'm getting that true. So whether the question mark is there, so output will be true. So it's going to check for that particular condition and it will tell that yes, the condition exists and the value what you are looking at this it is at that particular end of that particular string. So like this, you have different